What's up, guys? Welcome back to Deck Tech for Decks. I'm your host Caleb. If you guys want to support the channel, you can use that whatnot link in the description down below. You're going to get a free $15 to spend on some magic cards, and you'll be supporting the channel when you do it. Additionally, you can join the Discord, become a part of the weekly voted Deck Tech on the Discord, and yeah, last but not least, I would like to shout out my high contributing patrons. Newsom, you rock. Now, let's get into today's video, and today we're going to be going over probably the meanest thing I've ever done to someone in my play group. Now, this does take a little bit of background, and this was done on the Discord, so let's get into it. To set the background, 90% of the players that play on the Discord play casual, right? Because I do casual deck techs 90% of the time. But eventually, one of the guys or one of the patrons was like, hey man, we should try to get some CEDH pods together and knock out some CEDH games. So that's what we did, and eventually we did build up a little bit of a CEDH play group, and we still play regularly to this day. Now, what happened with that is you mix a lot of casual players that are trying to make their stuff work and CEDH. What immediately became meta was stacks right out of the gate, because it is a brewing community and brewers like to try to make stuff work. So we were trying to make some off-meta commanders work. We were trying to make some off-meta commanders stacks commanders, because maybe slowing down the opponent's the only thing this deck was missing, right? We're just trying to jam a lot of stuff together, make some stuff viable that has been written off by the CEDH community, because that's kind of what happens honestly very fast. And yeah, you put a bunch of casual players together, I guess the first thing they go to is stacks. Let's stop my opponent from doing everything. Now, that is that made some of the play styles and kind of the meta almost miserable to play against. I think at one point we had a 2+ hour CEDH game, and it was just miserable. And it became miserable for one player in particular. Now, this guy's the one that got us into playing CEDH, and he's the patron that kind of started the whole play group to begin with. And his playstyle's turbo. He wants to win as fast as possible, as efficient as possible, and he will mull for those turn 2 wins, right? And sometimes he gets there, but 9 times out of 10, when you try to be the first person to win in a CDH game, you probably just get stopped, sit there, and then get stacked out. And that's what kept happening to this guy, and eventually he just became like fed up with it. He's like, you know what? I'm done. He sent me a message. He kind of sent the other players a message. He's like, I'm coming back next week. I'm bringing Sisse. Sisse doesn't care about stacks, and you guys are just you're gonna eat it, right? And we're like, he didn't say it exactly like that, but paraphrasing, he was done, and he was gonna bring a strong deck. So we're like, yep, come on, bring it, and yeah, we'll play against it. This deck smashed us. And what happened is, I think he was on a 3 winning streak. I got on. I played against it. He smashed me. And then eventually he went on to win 9 more times before I got on next week. And I was like, that's insane. Now, to say what commander he built, it was Sisse, as I said earlier, and kind of how this deck works is once you get 5 mana, you win the game. I'll explain it briefly. They kind of want to resolve a Dockside or something like a Bloom Tinder, Selvala Heart of the Wilds, right? Something that gives you Wooburg. And from there, you're going to grab something like Saheeli. This can either create a token copy of the Mana Dork, or it can blink your Dockside, or create a token copy of Dockside, right? Then you get 5 more mana, and you can go to Aminatu, and that's going to blink your Dockside, giving you another activation. Then you can go get your Nicol Bolas Dragon God that has the activated ability of Aminatu, blink the Dockside a 3rd time, and then you can grab Oath of Teferi, which will allow you to activate all of your Planeswalker abilities again. From there, you can go ahead and blink Aminatu, and Nicol Bolas can blink, or sorry, Nicol Bolas blinks Aminatu, and Aminatu can blink Nicol Bolas, and then you can use Nicol Bolas' ability to draw your entire library, and the deck wins through slamming Thassa's Oracle on the battlefield when you've drawn your entire deck. Now, that became very hard to deal with, and seeing all that all happen at once, it's kind of hard to follow, kind of hard to understand, and it takes you a little bit to realize, oh, if this guy gets to 5 mana, you just lose the game. So at first, we were definitely just losing to the fact that this guy was generating 5 mana fast. We didn't really know that we had to stop that as fast as possible. It got to a point where he would just generate like 8 mana, slam his commander, and then win out of nowhere. You know, there was just a lot of stuff he was doing to catch us off guard with this deck, but once we gained a better knowledge of it, we were able to fight it a little more, but we weren't there yet. we're like 9-0 at this point. I think he got to 10-0 at one point. I'm not exactly sure. He might tell you in the comments down below. Dude still plays to on the Discord till this day, and he's got a pretty good humor about it. So what we did to this guy is I was like, hey guys, you know, we can't let this guy win again. Like, he's got 9-0 on us, right? At some point, enough is enough. So I was like, here's what we're gonna do. We're going to all load up with his deck. So we all went onto his Moxfill. We all downloaded his deck, and then we loaded up to a game, and he just saw 3 Sisseys staring back at him, and he just lost it. It was funny, and we all get the moles down. We all mole pretty good. I have a turn 3 win attempt in my hand, I think. Everybody else was happy with their moles. I think he moled pretty aggressively, but he had a turn 2 win attempt in his hand. So the game starts out slow. We get going. I play Sissay turn 2, I think. He goes for the win turn 2. He plays a land, which is where he messed up. Then he plays his Underworld Breach. Lion Eye Diamond, cracks the Lion Eye Diamond, only has 3 cards in his graveyard. So he's not able to exile enough from his graveyard to replay the LED. And it kind of just stuck him there. If he hadn't played the land, he would have won the game right there on the spot. I think we learned later one of the players had Flusterstorm in their hand, so he could have stopped that, because turns out Flusterstorm is just the perfect answer to a Brain Freeze. But yeah, if you don't know how that works, Brain Freeze mills the library, and then you're able to do the Underworld Breach thing, and eventually you're able to Brain Freeze everybody's library, and they either die to a Wheel of Fortune effect, or whenever they go to draw on their upkeep, they just die instantly. So that's what he was kind of going for there, and he didn't get there again because he played that land, so he was kind of just sitting there in silence at that point. And then this is where the mean part comes in, because he watched us butcher his deck. We all knew kind of how it worked, right? You grab the Planeswalkers, you do the Planeswalker thing, but putting it in practice when there's interaction and there's people trying to stop you, sometimes there's a line you can take to protect your win con, and yeah, none of us really knew how to play the deck the most efficient way, so he just sat there getting stopped turn 2 while we butchered his lines. Like, we would go for the wrong Planeswalkers, we would go for it and get stopped. I went for it turn 3, and I think one of my things got countered, and that's what stopped me. I think me and the guy next to me had the best understanding, but at one point we pass it to somebody and they definitely should have won the turn there. And he goes for Aminatu instead of Saheeli, and that kind of screws him over there. So then when he goes for Nicol Bolas, he doesn't have enough treasure tokens, and he kind of just, like I said, butchered the line. And this guy's standing there the whole time, or sitting there in silence, just like, you guys are butchering it. And he's losing it at this point, right? He's mad he messed up his turn 2 win, and everybody else is butchering his deck, but he can't do anything about it because he kind of went for the all or nothing play style, and he would have had it, but again, it got stopped. So it finally gets around to my turn. I think it's turn 5. We end up ending it, but here's the funny part. At one point, there was like 6 Docksides on the battlefield between all the players. Everybody had Saheeli. We were all making token copies of it, but we kept getting stopped, or Dockside wasn't enough. So yeah, at the end of it, like, there was like 6 Docksides on the battlefield, and he even points out, this is ridiculous. Like, there shouldn't be 6 Docksides on the battlefield and the game not be over. But anyway, I ended up closing it out at one point, and the guy, like I said, he had a good humor about it. We all laughed about it. But yeah, to this day, that's probably the meanest thing I've ever done to somebody, but it ended up being a pretty fun time. Kind of went down in Discord lore as, hey, remember that time we all played the Sissay deck against you? Dude still plays on the Discord today, and we still have that EDH playgroup together. We play regularly. So again, you guys want to join the Discord, you can join it from the channel page. I'll probably put it in the link in the description. As always, I hope this helped you in your deck building endeavors. I would like to shout out my patrons, Prater, Excessum, Newsome, and Chicken Salad. You guys are amazing. Really keep the channel going. With that being said, I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.